Today's program is very important to us as the chamber, particularly to the education group here at the chamber. The importance of this program on the education sector, particularly that of Nigeria, you will discover as we go on. We will have the minister represented here today that will tell you that the nation, our nation, Nigeria, is at a stage that we need to take our education very serious, and I am sure the chamber is committed to that in the last 136 years of its existence. Thank you so much. We would like to recognize quickly the presence of our leaders here present. My name is Sunday. We meet this morning at the moderator is
Grace Nkocha.
Thank you so much. This is about the first time we're having two moderators for an event. That's to tell you Mrs. Mavi Isibo, the chairperson of the Lcci Education Group, is powerful, bringing to, let's get together for Mrs. Isibo. She compelled two of us to moderate our event. Mrs. Isibo, thank you so much. I always know you are a powerful force, a very strong woman and a leader in this sector. I'd like to recognize the presence of our president, the president of the chamber. I refer to him as the #1 citizen of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, chairman of council, Mr. Gabriel Idausa, FCA. Let's put that together for Mr. Gabriel. Thank you so much. We have with us also, you allow me to do our protocols from the chamber side before I allow my sister to recognize the others that are seated. I'd like to recognize the presence of our past president, this is Honorable Mrs. Toki Mambo, the past president. Thank you so much. I saw the other time our leader, our father here at SCCI, Dr. Aderemi, Honorary Life Vice President at SCCI. I saw that is seated at the point of this. Let's go down together for him. Alright, I will recognize some of our leaders as I have their names from the SCCI side. I'd like to recognize again the presence of the, not in any particular order, but just I have protocol there. I have Mr. Ni Adenuga, Commissioner for Tertiary Education, Lagos State, is here. Alright, we have Mr. Adeola Adewumi, SSA Tertiary Education, Senior Special Advisor to the Governor of Lagos State, is around. Alright, so allow me to skip this while we move straight to what we have. We would like to take the opening remark by the, I'm looking for a word to describe her, but permit me to say a woman of powerful force, a voice in this sector. Let's put that together for the CEO for Nigeria, Chairperson, SCCI Education. Let's put that together for Mrs. Mavi Isibo. Let's keep clapping for her. This is women's work. So she already
Thank you so much. I'd like to stand on the existing protocol to welcome everyone. And thank you also for the opportunity and the privilege of standing here. I don't take it for granted at all. Thank you. So I hope it's okay to stand on the existing protocol. Thank you. All right, so this conference is all about innovation, inclusion, collaboration for sustainable education. When we talk about education, we must actually be considering the end product, that is the pupils or the students and their ability to thrive in the new world of work. Because at the end, that's where they are all going to end up, the world of work. Are they going to be able to fit into the new world of work as is being dictated by the changing dynamics that we have around us? The World Economic Forum predicts that at least 50% of the workforce will need reskilling by 2025. This is 2024. and that statement is still very, very, is already upon us now. At least 50%. So how is the education sector gearing up for that challenge? There are many changes coming in the world of work, such as increased competition, the need for more education and certifications, and the trends to change careers 5 to 7 times in a lifetime. No matter what job or career path a person decides to take, no matter what it is that the person decides to do, there are some basic skills that all employers look for, and our education system must tool up for that task. While technical skills such as software engineering, data and cloud computing still experience high demand, organizations now also expect individuals to apply these skills using modern working methods to achieve better outcomes. In other words, organizations are no longer just seeking employees who can do what they were hired for. They are looking for employees who can think critically, solve problems, and adapt to changes. To build a society that thrives on progress and innovation, schools in Nigeria especially must undergo a paradigm shift in their approach to education. Embracing innovation entails a multifaceted transformation that encompasses curriculum design, teaching methodologies, and the integration of technology. By infusing agility skills in critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity, schools can empower students for the future of work. Furthermore, prioritizing inclusion in education is essential to ensure that every child in Nigeria has access to quality education, regardless of their background, their abilities, or their circumstances. By adopting inclusive policies and practices, we can create a more equitable and supportive educational system that empowers all learners to reach their full potential. This includes providing specialized support for students with disabilities, improving access to education in underserved communities, and promoting diversity and cultural sensitivity in the curriculum. Inclusive education is the most effective way to give all children a fair chance to go to school, to learn, to develop the skills they need to thrive. Inclusive education means that no child is left behind. It means real learning opportunities for groups who have traditionally been excluded from education. Inclusive systems value the unique contributions students of all backgrounds bring to the classroom and allow diverse groups to grow side by side to the benefit of all. Collaboration among key stakeholders, including governments. That's why we have government here today, educational institutions, civil society, organizations, and the private sector is also crucial for driving positive change in the education sector. By working together towards shared goals, shared best practices, and pooling resources, we can amplify our impact and implement sustainable solutions that benefit all Nigerians. Public-private partnerships, which I'm hoping that will happen here today, will take advantage of the people that are here. We have the public sector, we have the private sector here. We'll take advantage of that. Joint research initiatives and community engagement programs can enhance the quality of education, expand access to learning opportunities, and build a more resilient and inclusive education system for the future. Collaborative partnerships with extensive organizations provide students and mentorship opportunities and real-world connections, bridging the gap between education and the workforce. It's very important. Right now we have about 21 MasterCard interns that are interning in boys. That's how we bridge the gap between education and the workforce. Collaborative learning promotes critical thinking and analytical skills as students learn to evaluate ideas, challenge assumptions, and develop their own insights. Furthermore, collaborative learning nurtures social and emotional skills such as empathy, effective communication, resilience, which Gen Zs lack a lot of today, which are essential for success in both academic and personal pursuits. Additionally, collaboration fosters an inclusive classroom culture that promotes respect for the individual, active listening, and constructive feedback, ensuring that every student feels valued and heard. Education systems are complex. Getting all children in school and learning requires alignment across families, educators, and decision makers. It requires shared goals and national policies that put learning at the center. It also requires data collection and regular monitoring to help policymakers identify what's working and who is benefiting and who is being left behind. In conclusion, there is a need to prioritize innovation, inclusion, and collaboration as key pillars of our education policy and strategy. By embracing these principles, we can create a more vibrant, responsive, and sustainable education system that equips our students with the knowledge, the skills, and the values they need to succeed in a rapidly changing world. Remember what I said. The World Economic Forum predicts that at least 50% of the workforce in the world, and Nigeria, maybe much more in Nigeria, will need reskilling by 2025. Education sector, we must tool up for that challenge. And Lcci is going to make the inroad for all anyone that wants to align to TULOP to get the requisite information and support. Thank you indeed for listening. Thank you.
As the Vice President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Honorable Consul of the United Republic of Tanzania to Nigeria, Mrs. Tokima Bukuje, our live Vice Presidents, very highly respected live Vice President who is with us today, Dr. Adeyemi, the Chairman of the Lcci Education Group, not just the Chairman of the group, but the powerful Chairman of the group, Mrs. Melody Isibo, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Ayo Senwa, representing the Minister of Education, Mrs. Neil Pius, representing Registrar of JAM, Dr. Olatunde Adekola, Senior Education Specialist for the World Bank. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by acknowledging the wonderful achievements that this event represents. I said the powerful chairman of the Education Group for a very big reason. Having the top of the education system in Nigeria with us in this event is a very big achievement. And I want to commend the education group led by Mrs. Lcci for something we have always wanted to do, and we have now achieved it. It is important to say that, as a matter of fact, Lcci is 136 years old. It is the oldest business membership organization in West and Central Africa. And it was very important to us that the education sector be reflected in our activities at the very highest level. And that it was makes us, as the leadership of Lcci, to be very proud of what the current leadership of the group has done. Because if we have a significant impact in other sectors of the economy, and we don't have that same impact in education, which is at the very foundation of any kind of development, we thought we were missing something. Having achieved that, we are extremely proud and happy, and we believe that this is the beginning of a new level of engagement between the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and the education sector, not the education sector in private business, but the education sector as a whole, both in the public and private sector. On that note, it's with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the Africa International Education Conference. It's organized by Lcci, with the theme as has been introduced. Education plays a critical role in enhancing the quality of life by increasing productivity, driving inclusive growth, and ultimately alleviating poverty. As a result, promoting the use of technology, inclusion and collaboration for sustainable education cannot be overemphasized, especially in the light of Nigeria's desire to achieve inclusive and quality education by 2030, as outlined in Sustainable Development Goal number 4. It's important to let this audience know that this year we set up a complete body in Lcci that is called SDGs and Business. Now, the SDGs and Business is a new component of Lcci that addresses each of the 17 SDGs. So we were really happy that the education group jumped in front of us before officially launching SDGs and Business. We are currently working with the UNDP to have the formal launch of the SDGs and Business component of Lcci, because we believe that you really cannot do business in an unsustainable environment. And that's why sustainability is now at the foundation of society. And so we decided that within the Lcci structure, we should have a significant part that is called SDGs and Business as a significant component of Lcci, which is standing body that is part of our structure. And so I'm really grateful to the education group that they are here ahead of us. According to UNESCO and UNICEF, Nigeria
currently has about 20 million out-of-school children, reflecting the country's worsening economic and security situation. An estimated 60% of these are girls. That is over 10 million girls out of school. Using any comparable index of benchmarking with other countries, this by itself is alarming. Looking ahead, Nigeria's target of 90% primary school enrollment and completion rate, 85% junior secondary, 74% senior secondary rates are benchmarks ahead of the 2020 SDG deadline would be more aspirational than realistic without necessary innovation, inclusion, collaboration, national policy, and financing. Recently, Nigeria launched the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy 2020-2030 with a vision of transforming the country into a leading digital economy, providing quality life and digital possibilities for all. Also, the newly launched National Talent Export Program, NATEP, provides an opportunity for young Nigerians to work for foreign employers from Nigeria and earn foreign currency as regular income. These opportunities require a sound basic educational ecosystem with capacity building standards for these engagements which are location neutral. Because if you have the talent, you can work for anyone in the world. Because around the world, there are basic standards of talents. And if we can achieve that, we really don't need to physically leave this country. Quality education is critical to achieving a high quality of life and can only be sustained by addressing technology concerns around accessibility to provide education to many learners, including children in underserved communities. Technology enables the development of a more inclusive and gender equitable education system. They support early learning and multilingual education and foster education to extend education opportunities to the hardest to reach children and adolescents. However, while access to high-quality educational resources remains a major challenge for education systems globally, technology has the potential to enhance access to education content in several ways. First, it facilitates content development by simplifying creation, adaptation, and sharing, aligning with the principles of open education movement. Secondly, digitalization expands storage capacities, creates digital formats of resources, and enhances distribution channels through digital libraries, online repositories, and learning management systems. Thirdly, technology aids in reducing costs and overcoming other barriers, such as language to access materials. Furthermore, critical stakeholders such as government, private sector, communities, and international partners must work together to develop strong, innovative education systems that enhance learning for all children. For governments, addressing barriers to inclusion through initiatives such as making secondary education compulsory, building more schools, improving access to digital learning, developing customized curricula, improving the quality of teachers, and providing financial and academic assistance to students are basic. These are not earth-breaking requirements or expectations. They are pretty basic expectations from government at all levels, not just the federal government, the state governments, the local governments. As we gather here today, let us reaffirm our commitment to innovative and equitable quality education in Nigeria. Let us work together to build trust, promote transparency, and facilitate collaboration between the public and private sectors. Together, we can unlock opportunities, drive sustainable education, and build a prosperous future for all Nigerians. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizers, the education group, and particularly to our sponsors. A lot of them are eminent sponsors of Lcci for a long time, and we see a few new sponsors today. Participants of today's event for their unwavering support and commitment for advancing quality education in Nigeria. I'm confident that through our collective efforts, we will achieve our shared vision of a more prosperous and inclusive Nigerian society. Once again, I would like to thank all our speakers for honoring our invitation and wish every participant an impactful experience. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I didn't walk you down because this is Rabo, didn't say so. I'm committed to an instruction of walking off our ladies up and walking them down. Once again, let's put them together for Mr. President. All right, thank you so much. So, with the speech of the welcome address by the President over, I'd like to do quick recognitions. I needed to get all the names ready. So, I will do a few ones and I will add up as we have them join us. Some of our speakers are here.
The President of Lcci, Mr. FCA, the Honorary Vice President, and the former presidents here present, the former chair of the Education Committee of the Lcci, the president, the chair of the current chair, who is our host today. I recognize you. The Honorable Commissioner for Higher Education in Lagos State, Mr. Lcci, I recognize you. The representative of JAM, Mrs. Pius. And of course, our guest speaker, one of the experts from the World Bank, Mr. Adekola. Members of Lcci, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press. It is my honor to warmly welcome you to this event and to bring the goodwill of the Honorable Minister for Education, Professor Tahir Maman, OONSAN. He would have loved to be here, and that is not a cliche. That is the truth. Because it was because he wanted to be here that he took the steps to ensure that he got someone to represent him at this forum when he found that he could not. And by yesterday evening, he was reaching out to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Lcci, who unfortunately could not accept that task personally, because she also had a prior commitment already to the Lagos State government and had to be at a meeting at the same time as this task. And so the task fell to me. So I am not the Vice Chancellor, I am only the Deputy Vice Chancellor. I must commend the Lcci for taking on this most germane and this most important and this most contemporarily relevant thing to address at this meeting. Education, as we all know, is the sum total of life. Education is lifelong. We start our lives learning. The newborn is born and learns to feed, learns to cry out, learns to crawl, learns to discover the environment, and we continue to learn.
we learn throughout life. And anybody who stops learning is going to die. Education is wealth. Education is the progress of the individual or the progress of nations. Absent education, again, we will only die. Die in every sense of it. Because education is what enables us to respond to our environment. We learn from those who have gone ahead of us. We learn by testing out and trying to overcome the challenges as we witness them. Education, therefore, is development. And so what we are here for is about life. We're here for progress, for wealth, and we're also here at this time for development, so that we shall not die. Die as individuals, and die as a nation, and die as the world. And it is no surprise that we are looking forward and we are looking backwards, to be able to learn from what it is that we have done wrong, to be able to chart the way for what it is we must do. And that is why this theme is very germane. Innovation, the synonym of which is creativity, newness. Then there's inclusion, which simply means ensuring that everybody is on board. Getting everybody on board necessarily challenges us then to look at areas where other factors, the social cultural factors, the physical factors that serve to exclude. So as we go on in this discussion, it is our expectation that we will recognize that the world is inhabited by multiples of people. Some, as we described, having special people having special needs. But aside there, we also need to look at the institutionalized exclusions that come from around issues such as gender biases, gender prejudices, and exclude. So when we talk about education that is going to be sustainable, we must also look at collaboration. Without collaboration, we can't get too far. And it is no surprise that the theme of this conference zeroes into about 6 of the goals of the SDGs. The gender equality goal, the partnership for the goals, which is the last one, 17. Innovation is one of the goals. And there's also gender equality. So what we do here, and I'm glad the President also prefaced this by letting us know that the Lcci is unveiling its partnership for the SDGs, business and the SDGs. It is on this note, therefore, that I want to urge us to have truthful and robust engagements. I want to implore us not to spend time bemoaning the problems. We're usually very good at that in Nigeria. We are usually very good at identifying the problems. I want to charge us to spend the short time that we are going to be here for, to chart, the what is practicable, the what is doable, and also identify who is doing what, because we're looking at collaboration, we're looking at partnership. I want to believe, on behalf of the Minister, that he will be only too glad to receive the outcome of this conference, where the outcomes spell out actionable recommendations that the private sector can pick on, the public sector can pick on, and government is overlacking, providing the policy framework and every other thing to support the realization of the recommendations will also be able to find its place. And it is on that note that once again, I commend the Lcci and I warmly welcome every person who has taken out the time to devote themselves even to this very, very germane issue, touching on national, individual, national, and global development. Welcome and thank you.
yeah, to stand on the existing protocol, because like I used to tell people sometimes, time is not our friend, and the more important way you can misplace who to put first in the order of priority, and everybody here is very, very important. But I will not be fair if at least I will not appreciate the SCCI, and which I want to say that I'm very, very glad to be here. So I wish to thank formally the Mrs. Marvin Sibon to make sure that people like us will have the opportunity to join you here, and of course the chairman and all the people who are behind this meeting. The second one is that I want to thank them because it's also a very important gathering for somebody like us where I work, and we know why I have to appreciate this, because as far as I'm concerned, I think we cannot clap with one hand, and the government has been talking about it. Even if no matter the resources they put, there is still need for the private sector, the non-state actors, so that to be able to strengthen the education system. I will just briefly, since I'm the guest speaker, to cluster, they will circulate the paper, but the paper focus on the World Bank group and what the private sector can do to support some of the things we are going to discuss today. So that will be the last part, which is what they will circulate on the role of the World Bank group, International Finance Corporation, to support private education service delivery. So before going to that, we'll talk generally, because since I'm an education specialist and I'm with the World Bank, to give you an idea how we see education system in Nigeria, so that you can see where people like us are coming from. Then the second one, the second part, I will talk about the supply and demand in terms of how to tackle the issue of access, equity, which people have been talking about, and the issue, the World Bank is very clear to our heart, the issue of the learning poverty. People go to school, but they are not learning. So it's very clear to us. And then the last, before I move to the issue of IFC, I will also talk briefly to people who know what the World Bank does and the World Bank group, because our work is, we have 4 different entities in the World Bank, and I will talk, then I will not conclude in terms of the IFC. I think I should be able to do this as quickly as possible. So the first part is, how do we see the education in Nigeria? We see the education in Nigeria in terms of saying it has been dichotomized. What do we say that is because of the government policies and the law? So we see that education in Nigeria is already divided into 2: basic education and post-basic education. In terms of basic education, there's already law. When I go to meeting, they say we have a strategy, and I'm glad that my sister is here who are lawyers. Law is bigger than strategy, because it can be enforced. Whether it is implemented or not, it's a different matter. But there's a law. So the basic education in Nigeria, there's a law that every living child in this country should have access to basic education for 9 years. That's what the law says. And irrespective of the gender, the location, or your family background, or your physical challenge, or whatever it is, it's a law. And the beauty of the law, which for people like us that go back, we don't see in many parts of the world, especially in Africa, is also backed with money. And that's where we have the movement. 2% of the total resources of the federal goes to basic education. And the last one we tell people to is for eternity. As long as Nigeria, that money will continue to be available, which is beauty. So whether we bring children to school, we are not, but the question you can ask, is the money enough? That is another different. if you have your own money, which is a discretionary money in your pocket, and you cannot use it to deliver for your people or the people around you, is it giving more money that will make a lot of difference? If you put good money into a bad system, it becomes bad money. So the issue of basic education is very clear. There's a lot, there are resources, they are not enough, there's still need for more money to basic education in Nigeria, especially from the state perspective, because the UBED fund is a federal entity. We can talk more about that. But when it comes to post-basic education, is there any law that says every child in Nigeria will go to secondary school? Is there any money to say everybody, once you finish junior secondary school, you must go to university or polytechnic or anything? And what does that mean? It means there's one in which there's law, the resources, there's need for more resources, and there's need to link the resources to more results, which is outcome. And there's one in which everybody is doing whatever they can do at the federal, state, or public sector level in terms of the post-basic. So I say that is to let you know that because if we lump education together, we will be missing the point of what needs to be done. Because if not, you will be talking about somebody who has money, is not using money well, is not delivering results, with someone who doesn't even have a strategy. There's no law, there's nothing to be done. Everybody just do it in this state. Some people will declare everybody will go to secondary, and all those things. So, and for you to understand, before I move away from that sector, from that discussion, when you talk about basic education, there's really 4 subsectors that is covered in Nigeria. The first one, and I'm very happy they are here, is Lcci. So, if people say, oh, come and survive Lcci, I say, yes, we can survive Lcci. Let's talk about the money that is within the government, within the goes to basic education. And the last one we tell people to is for eternity. As long as Nigeria, that money will continue to be available, which is beauty. So whether we bring children to school, we are not. But the question you can ask, is the money enough? That is another different. But people like us believe if you have your own money, which is a discretionary money in your pocket, and you cannot use it to deliver for your people or the people around you, is it giving more money that will make a lot of difference? If you put good money into a bad system, it becomes bad money. So the issue of basic education is very clear. There is a lot